in a few hours he will be dead. There was a snake in our campsite. Thickest, fattest timber rattler. Just sliding toward one of my campers. This thing is going towards him. This thing's like and it's rattling so loud.
Hey everyone, guess who's back in the saddle again? It's me, your friendly neighborhood Cam.
I deserved a break.
Yeah, you did. You just blasted through like I think 15 episodes in a row if we count our last session as well.
Which I'm very much willing to do. I'm not like in like a sweatshop forced to do this or something. But
I have a gun to your head. I'm not in a sweatshop or anything.
I'm reading like off a script, like obviously. Oh dang it! I totally forgot this is the first one. I should have definitely.
Yeah, this is unfortunate that I got saddled with this one, but we'll see how this goes.
Wow, this is unfortunate. This was your idea, man.
I know. But the reason why is because I wanted to. Off camera, we were talking about some of the stuff that you did for this camp recently.
Yeah.
And I thought they were really interesting stories, so I wanted to hear more about it. Oh, no.
Yeah, so basically, since we last recorded, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And for most of the summer, I've been like completely off the grid.
Yeah, like not
the
like hypothetically off the grid or like in some exaggerated sense off the grid. You have not been like you couldn't call you until like you literally could not reach you by phone.
Well, yeah, I was basically in the woods for like 3 months.
Yeah.
I was with this camp, which I guess shall remain nameless. I think it's illegal for me to say that name. Actually, illegal might be a strong term.
Yeah, that sounds like you joined a cult. Or like you had to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
I mean, it would be polite for me. That's the word I'm going to use. It would be caring of me not to mention the name. But
after the horrors I've seen,
I mean, you know. Yeah, I joined this camp. And it's not very normal. Actually, it might be normal for some people growing up. Me and you went to kind of like camps. Like I remember we went to that one camp when we were really little. That would kind of like.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if we even had like similar experiences. It was pretty like average, you know.
Yeah, I mean we went camping with Dad a lot because our dad
really
is a
into
big
camping.
woodsman.
Yeah.
Like hikes in Colorado. I'm realizing I don't know a lot of the details of that as I'm speaking.
Yeah, I just know that he used to be in it like a ton before we were born, I guess.
Yeah. I wonder what changed.
How old are you?
When did your dreams die, Dad?
How old are you?
How old are you again?
But yeah, so I'm basically getting more into that. My major is really centered around that. Because, you know, still in school. But, yeah, I joined this camp that it's like an all-boys camp. Mm-hmm. And it's very much focused on, like, actual, like, woodsman things. Like, It's not, like, it's fun, but it's not, like, supposed to be, like, it's not supposed to be, like, this fun, like, amusement experience that, like, people will go and they'll, like, I don't know.
Yeah, this place doesn't have like a ropes course or like paintball or like you never played capture the flag or something.
Yeah.
And if you did, I'm sure it was more intense.
It's very much like we're going to teach you. You're going to be able to survive in the wild for 5 days after you leave, and that's like to the kids. Like I was working there.
Yeah, like how old were the kids that you were dealing with?
So like the youngest was like. I think like 10 years old, and the oldest was like 16. And they had like 3 different like divisions of kids. But they were all like, there's like definitely a type of person that signs up for this camp. Like they were all very much like, probably like the coolest kid in their class back home. So they would like basically we would like do like workouts in the mornings, and they were like not like pretty tough stuff. And then we would like, we would like teach them skills, like, how to build fires. And people would have to like build a fire. Like they would have to like, they would give you 2 matches, and they would be like, all right, you're going to have to use these 2 matches to make a fire and then be able to boil water for 2 minutes off of your fire.
So I'm surprised that they honestly gave you the matches. I kind of expected it would be more like, here's 2 sticks and some flint.
It's not like Bear Grylls or something like that. But it's like you have to be like competent in this kind of stuff. And these kids are like they're doing this with like 10-year-olds. Mm-hmm. So it kind of sounds a little bit like Boy Scouts, which it kind of sort of is. It's not straight up Boy Scouts, but it's more just like we're going to turn you into a man kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So we would do that. We would go on like these backpacking trips. And it was crazy for me because, I never heard of this place. I sign up and they're like, we'll whoop you into shape to like, train these kids or whatever. And I go into it and they give you so much responsibility for these children.
Yeah.
Like these are other people's kids. And basically they'll give you a little bit, like a couple days of training, and they'd be like, all right, so you're going to drive these kids out, like 2 hours out to this destination with directions. You can't use your phone. You get there, and they give you a rough estimate of the hike you're doing, which it's multiple trails. So you get off different trails, go to different ones, and do a loop back to your car. And if you make that, then you get it and you drive back.
Wow.
And they're just like very much believing and like trusting that you will make it back.
So you basically were like responsible, like there was a percentage chance that someone could die. Not a high percentage.
There was always a probability that like a snake or something could just like come out of the woods. And it's like, it's just the idea that they are not with professionals. Like they are with like these like college age kids that are doing this for the summer. And these kids are just like completely trusted with like these like college kids to like get them, not only get them through, but get them through alive through like all of the difficulty was like absolutely mind-boggling to me. And the weirdest thing is that I kind of like that almost, because I feel like it was more enjoyable that way. There was like a lot more like adventure that way.
How do I move my shield freely?
You have to let go of like locking on and then move.
Oh, okay. Sorry, please continue. So you actually liked it that way, you're saying?
It's cool because it's kind of like the whole like higher risk, higher reward type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of the kids love this camp. I don't know why. I feel like I would have hated it if I was forced to do this stuff when
I would have despised that.
But the kids love this stuff. And I think it's because like it's like the kind of like when you're like challenged that much, you like, I don't know, you just like grow and like become so much better than when you like went in. And it's in a lot of ways, like, your mentality, like physically, you're just like so much better. So, yeah, I don't know. My experience with it was like, it was really scary at first because I did not feel qualified.
Well, you also got hired at like the 11th hour, didn't you?
Yeah, I was hired like maybe like 5 days before it started. It was actually kind of like unheard of that like they would like hire that early.
Gosh.
So, I mean, it was crazy because like we had a couple experiences where like a kid absolutely almost died. It was pretty normal that we would like, there were like kids with like anaphylactic to bees. Which basically means that they were like allergic to the type where like they could like die from it.
Oh, I thought that meant you were flagellant to bees.
I don't even know what you mean by that.
It's kind of like lactose intolerance, but with bees.
You know what? That's actually the way you can put it. That would make sense in the context. But you would have these kids that are like they could have any condition, and we would be going out into nature. It was like roughly charted. You know, hopefully like someone has been on this trail before.
Yeah.
And it was pretty normal. Like, I got pretty used to getting stung by bees because you would just be going and someone would walk on a hornet's nest or something.
Oh my gosh.
And then nobody would know until one person's like, oh. And then everyone's like, it's kind of like paralyzed for a second. They're like, run. And then like people are getting like stung. And as they're like running like as fast as they can. And everybody's got like these big packs on. So they're like running with like these big packs. And that became pretty normal. So it's just like the idea that like they can like send these kids out to this kind of thing. And the kids and their families will like know this and agree to do it anyway. Is what's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's not like they got like tricked into something, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, we had this thing that they would bring with us. You know, we would have our phones with us.
Uh-huh.
But our phones almost never got any signal because we're out in the middle of nowhere most of the time. Like,
yeah.
You'd be out on the Smoky Mountains or something like that. So, you know, you wouldn't get signal unless you were like maybe at like the very, very highest peak in like the area.
Uh-huh.
So they would send us with this thing called the beacon. And it's this thing that nobody has ever used in the history of the camp.
Uh-huh.
Basically,
well, that's good news on its own.
I mean, sort of. It's like good news, but it's also like intimidating because it's like
you don't want to be the guy who like used it.
You're gonna be the guy for the rest of your life. So you have this thing, and basically the only thing it's for is if you have a kid and he is like in immediate like dying situation. Like this kid, like if somebody breaks their leg on the trail, that is not a beacon situation.
Oh my goodness!
They teach you in this camp how to like tourniquet a leg, how to like, you know.
Did you say tourniquet a leg?
I guess that's for like.
No, I thought you said like turn a kid a leg. Like I was like, oh my goodness.
I actually don't think that's the right term anyway. That's when we're like blood loss and stuff like that.
Oh, that's all. I always forget you take a step forward when you pull out your sword.
But you know, they teach you like if you need to like carry this kid, they'll teach you how to like make stuff for that, and they'll teach you like the ways to like do like wilderness first aid and things like that. So they train you for stuff like that before you go. But this thing is for, like, if a kid is literally in a situation where, like, in a few hours he will be dead. And what it does, it will literally send out a signal to literally anybody that is close by to you.
Really?
Anybody within a certain, like, mile radius that, like, has, like, incoming signal. Like, everybody is coming if you press that button.
Wow.
Like,
so now everyone in the camp... Okay, first
responders... helicopters, anybody that has one on them.
Oh, okay.
People are coming if you press this button.
Wow.
I got kind of close. I got in a situation I got kind of close.
What?
I think I was mentioning this to you the other day. A snake actually got dangerously close to biting one of my campers.
Oh, my word.
Which you would think that wouldn't be as big of a deal as like somebody breaking their leg.
Oh, no, that's scary stuff.
But the problem is they don't send you with any kind of anti-venom or anything. So if somebody gets stung, or I mean bitten, I guess stung too, by anything venomous, then that's pretty much like a beacon situation. You don't have any other options at that point.
So hold on. Now you're skipping over something here. So by that, you seem to be implying that, in fact, you yourself I'm going to kill something. You yourself dealt with, like, a snake or something.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. There was a snake in our campsite, and it was a timber rattler, which is actually one of the most venomous rattlesnakes. And for some reason, rattlesnakes are always, like, the scariest ones, just because it's, like, you can audibly hear the danger
right
in the situation. So like, I'm taking a dump in the middle of the night. I think you have to throw the pots.
Yeah,
I guess you can't get to the furthest one, can you?
Is that guy still dead that I killed at least?
I think what you have to...
Oh, that's so annoying. Okay.
I guess you can't use a hook when you're like already hanging.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh, you can throw it. You can throw the pots on those like flame things, and that'll like propel you up.
I've got a situation I'm working through now. Keep telling your story. I'm listening.
But anyway, I'm like taking a dump, and I come back. Most people are asleep. And there is like the thickest, fattest timber rattler just sliding toward one of my campers. My camper couldn't give a crap. He's laying in his... He's like hammocking. And he's laying there, doesn't know. I think he's asleep. Everyone else is either asleep or they're trying to go to sleep. So I come back, and
oh my gosh,
this thing is going towards him. This thing's like 3 feet away from him, and it is rattling so loud.
Oh no!
And it was like one of those things where like without thinking, like my impulse was just like, everybody wake up. And you're like, they come out, and it was really bad because none of us, like, we weren't sent with any weapons.
Oh,
we had like
gosh.
knives, little pocket knives, but that's not going to do anything.
Right.
And the thing is, we look at this thing and we shine our lights on it. Like all of us collectively shine our lights on it because we're just standing at a distance. Because if we get too close, this thing could strike. Because rattlesnakes can strike like double their body length.
Yeah.
So at any second, it can strike this kid. And he's just laying there. This kid is so chill, by the way. He's just laying there. I'm like, what was his name? I want to say Caleb.
Call him Tyler or Johnny or something.
I should absolutely know this kid's name.
Apparently you saved his life.
Johnny Caleb is just sitting there, laying there. I'm like, do not move. And he's like, okay. And he's just laying there.
Is he half asleep or something?
He can't see it. He's like facing the other direction. He could probably hear it, but he can't see. He's facing the other direction. And we're all like shining our lights on it. And should have used a leaf.
Leaf!
I thought you were going to.
I couldn't figure it out. I was standing there forever. Oh, all right.
And I think it intimidates it enough. We didn't know it was going to do that.
Right.
Because we're all standing back. We didn't want to engage it because we didn't want it to kill this kid. We shine our lights on it. And that, for some reason, that makes it want to, like, climb a tree. And so it's next to this tree, and it's coiled up.
So you watch this thing climb a tree like in real life?
It tried to.
Holy crap.
It tried to climb this thing, and I don't know if this is embarrassing, but I'm still not sure snakes can do that. I feel like the fact that it would attempt to do that would make me think that it could.
Right.
Because you wouldn't think like an animal like naturally would try to do something that it is impossible.
That's true. I guess I have a lot of faith in the idea of instinct or something that like,
especially with animals.
Right. Especially like if it's not like in a human environment. If it's in an animal centric environment, I trust. Are you kidding me? What was that? But I don't know.
The story actually doesn't have like super like climactic ending.
I mean, it's pretty climactic already.
It was more like if you're in that moment, you'd be saying this too.
Yeah.
Like it is the scariest thing, especially if it's a kid that you are immediately responsible for.
Right, because remember, it's not like you are out there with like other adults. Like you are out there with a kid. You know, like someone's child is like, and you're responsible for them.
Yeah.
You know?
The snake eventually just kind of like I guess it worked. It just kind of like went back into the bushes.
Yeah.
Which is also scary in its own because we still could kind of see it, but we never saw it actually like leave.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the night, me and I had this co-counselor who was with me, and he was like, "I guess we're gonna stay up tonight. Like we gotta like, make sure this doesn't kill someone." Because it was one of those situations where it's like, we watch this thing or we leave.
Right. And leave doesn't mean we just go back to the campsite. That's like
we can't just go home either. We have to go like keep going. In the middle of, like, at midnight.
Like, at midnight, you're hiking through the woods. There's no lights anywhere except for what? The moon?
Yeah, you can't see anything. Hopefully, a lot of these kids are really stupid, so they don't bring, like, the proper gear anyway. So they're like, okay, I guess you're going to use my headlamp. But, yeah, I mean, that was basically the situation I was in. I would say more, and I would love to see you finally after hours of trying to get in there. But looking at our time, I think we are done.
All right. Well, I'd like to hear more in the next episode then.
All right.
See y'all then.
Windwaker.
Next time on Windwaker.
You know what to do.
And if you don't, ask someone.